it's Connor. How are you doing? In Full Swing podcast. Actually, we'll say In Full Swing channel because we do our podcast, but we also talk about this wonderful club here, as you know. Connor here, massive Leeds fan, and we are back with an In Full Swing channel special of the Rumour Mill episode 2. Before I start, I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who watched the video the other day. Thank you so much for your support. Genuinely, it means the world, and it means that I want to continue doing these things. It gives me that extra boost and encouragement to do that sort of thing. I've got a lot of things planned. It's taking a lot of effort and money to do these things, but I'm doing it because I love Leeds. I love producing content, especially for you guys. I know you get people on YouTube talking about this all the time, but it's genuine. It's coming from a deep-rooted place for me. So thank you so much. And yeah, keep with the support. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you haven't liked the video, please do so. It gives me a really good indication, as I always say, if you are enjoying the content. I think you enjoyed Rumour Mill episode 1 yesterday. So let's get on to episode 2. Now, the rumours today circulating around Leeds, there's quite a lot of them. You know, it's the start of the transfer window. Everybody's excited. Everybody's giddy. 6 weeks till the start of the Premier League. Does it give you jitters? It gives me jitters. I think the squad needs surgery. And when I say surgery, I'm not talking about open heart surgery. I'm talking a little bit of maybe a recorrective knee surgery. Do you know what I mean? Not as much, not as difficult, not as long term. So yeah, I think we've got a really good squad, a really good foundation to go into this Premier League. You know, I was watching teams yesterday and I was thinking to myself, we can do these. Our passing football, we're going to surprise a lot of teams. But the number one rumour to start with, obviously, as yesterday's video did quite well, I'm going to touch on Jonathan David, the player that Leeds are apparently afterwards, the Genk chairman coming out, numerous sources in Belgium saying that we are after this man. He is one of our targets. Jonathan David, as I've said before, can play in the 9 or he can play in the 10, and he's actually played out wide a couple of times for Genk as well. Now, the stipulation with this fee is Lille, because Lille are apparently interested in Jonathan David as well. But what they've tried to do as a second option is go for Alfredo Morelos, part of Steven Gerrard's outfit at Rangers. Now, apparently they've only offered Rangers 13 million plus bonuses, which Rangers, Steven Gerrard and all co down there are not happy with. So they have rejected their offer, come out and said that Alfredo Morelos will be going nowhere. Obviously, they're going to come out and say that to drive the price up. We'll have the same stipulations with Ben White, which I'll get onto in a bit. Teams say they're not allowed to go, but they will be able to go, but it'll just be about the transfer fee. Money talks in football always. So that means that Lille could be back in for Jonathan David if it doesn't go through with Morelos, and that could be competition for Leeds. Obviously, Borussia Mönchengladbach are in the running, and apparently David has come out and said that he would like to play in Germany over England, which, you know, we've seen in the past with young players, you know, Jadon Sancho, Empadu for Chelsea. We've seen them go over to Germany, and it's worked. They've thrived over there. So maybe David's thinking the same thing, and then he could maybe get a top move. But I don't really understand it, to be honest. I don't know if that is a false rumor, but apparently there's numerous outlets reporting that he wants to play in Germany. So let's keep an eye on that one. Thiago Almada today, the Daily Star. You know, I say that laughing, but you know, they are a news outlet. Obviously, they are a paper, and the Sun reporting that apparently Thiago Almada wants to play under Marcelo Bielsa, and he's willing to sacrifice moves to Manchester City and Manchester United to play under Marcelo Bielsa's outfit in the Premier League. Obviously, of Vélez Sarsfield, Bielsa's managed Vélez, so it is one of those things that there's a link there. Bielsa, obviously a huge name in Argentina, managed the national side, led them to Olympic gold. So, you know, when Almada will have been growing up, he'll have been seeing, you know, Bielsa in charge of his national team, and he'll have been a national treasure over there. Obviously, we saw it early on days with Newell's Old Boys. So Bielsa is a huge attraction for any Argentinian, as we've seen with Leeds United when they've been linked to players like Sergio Romero and of the like. So Bielsa is a huge attraction, and this is one thing that we've all got to get used to. This isn't just a championship run-of-the-mill season. This is Marcelo Bielsa in the Premier League, so a lot of players are going to be wanting to play for his outfit, so that's extremely exciting. But Almada, it doesn't look like those links are dead. The start of the window today, we've got 6 weeks left. Watch this space is all I'll say. You know, we need to start trusting Bielsa. I think because of the JKA move, there's been a lot of eyebrows raised, and maybe the Nketiah move. I think Nketiah did a brilliant job for Leeds. I was watching all the goals back yesterday of this season. Listen, he had a massive part to play, and he got us over the line as well. Nketiah's goals, important goals against Barnsley, Preston, Stoke in the Cup. I believe he scored against Brentford at home as well. So massive goals from Eddie. So that was an astute sign. And yeah, we'd have liked it for the remainder of the season, but it didn't happen. And the goals got us over the line. JKA, I think the ability was there. We saw him get conditioned into shape. But for me, from what I've been told as well, his attitude wasn't there. And you can't get that over a transfer. You know, Leeds were mid-season. We went out there. Bielsa picked out his attributes, thought he was a wonderful player. He's a brilliant player. Very talented, very, very talented. And we saw him as that person who could lead us to the Premier League and be part of this Premier League outfit. But it's not worked out. Transfers don't work out, but you look at about 90%, 80-90% of Leeds transfers, they have worked out, and Orta and Bielsa have done a magnificent job. Bielsa knows what it's like to be in the top division. This is the first time he's dropped down to the second tier in his career. So, you know, with the likes of obviously Marseille, where he did a sterling job in that Liga season where, you know, they got pipped at the end, but they finished fourth that season. His recruitment, his say on things was absolutely brilliant, you know, working with the likes of obviously Batshuayi, Yayu, etc. So, listen, he knows what he's doing. He knows where he is, and we'll get on to Marcelo Bielsa in just a little bit. Cavani, I think that's dead in the water, guys, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't know if it was a starter, to be quite honest. You know, obviously, I touched on it on the rumour mill yesterday, but Edinson Cavani to Leeds, it was always going to be a bit of a difficult deal. 200 grand a week. He obviously wants Champions League football. Why would you not? You know, I get we've got the Marcelo Bielsa factor, the fact this club's been out the top division for 16 years and we're going back there and hopefully going back there with a bang. But this kid is not interested in that. He's 33 years old. He wants to be playing at the highest level with the highest paycheck. And it looks like apparently a contract is being agreed with Benfica as I speak right now. So I believe that is a bit dead in the water. The Sun also today reporting that Leeds are interested in Axel Tuanzebe. Now, this would be a really good signing for me. Tuanzebe, really good at the back, composed, obviously an English player as well, an English-speaking player. So he's going to be able to sort of fit into that mould really nicely. And I say this the speaking player because it's very difficult, but obviously with the Leeds United being linked with players from abroad, you do worry with 6 weeks left. Are they going to be able to fit into that back line, be able to coerce and communicate with a largely British back line? Obviously, Meslier there as well. Is that going to work out? Obviously, we're looking at Ben White, and I'll get onto Ben White in a bit, but Axel Tuanzebe, he's had a loan at Aston Villa, you know, in a largely British back line. And I'm sort of looking at the Sheffield United mould, as we keep on saying, you know, in the summer, would Wilder have, let's say, brought a Spaniard in, a highly rated Spaniard, and put him in the middle of O'Connell and Basham? No, he wouldn't, because they've already got the cohesiveness. They already know where each other's patterns of play are going to land. So I think you've got to get Ben White for me. That's the number one priority this summer. But I think Axel Tuanzebe, for his style of football, the level he's played at, I think that would actually be a really good signing. And that moves me on nicely to Ben White. Now, I've seen a lot of people today talking about the actual transfer fee, and I would have to agree. You know, a lot of people are saying, I don't think the transfer fee would be that high. Obviously, Brighton have said that they've been struggling massively through the coronavirus, being able to recruit money and all this sort of jazz in the Premier League. And they've said that they're going to cut short on spendings and they need money. Obviously, Graham Potter's come out and said that he doesn't want to sell Ben White, but this always happens in football. If money is on the table, money talks all the time. And for me, you know, I've heard from a decent source, apparently Leeds are going in for him. He's one of the targets, obviously, but for me, he's a number one priority. And I think Leeds, for me, I'm still confident we will get that one done. And I think, you know, a lot of people talking 35 million, but in this current economic climate where teams need money, teams like Brighton need money, I think that we could get Ben White for a good fee. I'm not going to say we'd get him for this fee, but I think maybe 20, 25 million, maybe plus add-ons would do it for Ben White. I think Brighton would sort of consider that, you know, with the likes of Dan Burn, Dunk and Webster at the back. You know, you forget last year they spent 30 million on Webster. He's the centre-back. I don't think if they've got obviously Ben White on the bench, they've still got replacement centre-backs on the bench, by the way, which is why they let Ben White go. I think Brighton are going to be willing, if the money is there, to let Ben White go to Leeds. And for him to fit in that back line, doesn't need 6 weeks of training, which is what any other centre-back would need in this Bielsa setup. It would be absolutely perfect. And he's pivotal to how we play, to how we defend, to the fact we've got 22 clean sheets this season. It is Ben White. He makes players around him better. He can step up into that midfield, create space, take on players. He's a wonderful player. I don't need to go over this with you guys, but for me, priority number one, and I do think that would work. Now, Marcelo Bielsa was also seen at Goodison yesterday. we all got a bit excited, and for me that just solidifies the fact that his contract is done. There's reports in Argentina stating that it is done, and obviously it's not come out by the club yet. But I think Phil Hay tweeted yesterday. Obviously Phil's on holiday, so we're all panicking. We're not getting any news, but Phil Hay essentially tweeting out yesterday saying the club are very, very confident it will get done. I think Graham Smythe also replicated that as well, so that's fantastic news. But he was at Goodison yesterday. Now listen, if he hadn't signed a contract, he wouldn't be at Goodison. That's simple. He's not going to go to Bournemouth as a manager. Obviously Bournemouth now relegated to the Championship, and Everton are absolutely fine with Carlo Ancelotti, one of the most decorated managers in the world. So I've seen a lot of rumours saying Everton might be going after him. That is not happening. Bielsa is there. He's trying to recruit for Leeds, and that brings me on to a player who I absolutely love, David Brookes, ex-Sheffield United, put the nail in our coffin in the La Soga season. I'll call it the La Soga season, the pre-Marcelo Bielsa stage, obviously with TC, when Sheffield United had just been promoted from League One into the Championship, and he was absolutely superb all season. Only a youngster then, I believe he was about 19. Gets the call from Premier League Bournemouth, heads down there, has had a decent season. A little bit hampered by injury, but overall, technically, he's a wonderful player. Absolutely wonderful player, and he will be going at some point this season. I don't think Bournemouth will be able to keep hold of him in the Championship. An absolute all-star at that level, and I think he can make the step up. He made the step up at the start of the season. I don't think he's been helped by players around him, not contributing to goals. Obviously, as I've said, he's had a couple of injuries, but naturally, as a young player, you always pick up injuries. And I think Brookes, for me, will be the number one target. And I do think, just by how Leeds United play, out of all that crop of players that were playing yesterday, I know this sounds ridiculous, but that Everton side, I don't think any of them would fit into our starting lineup. Crazy. And I'm not talking about quality, but I'm talking about endeavour. I'm talking about effort. I'm talking about being able to pass in that system of the Marcelo Bielsa system. Maybe take Andre Gomez, but obviously that's not going to happen. And Richarlison, but that's obviously not going to happen. So you look at that Bournemouth side, you've got the likes of Josh King, Callum Wilson. I wouldn't take Callum Wilson. I don't think he's been prolific enough this season in a Bournemouth side. He had numerous chances yesterday, couldn't finish his dinner. We need a prolific striker, obviously. And then you're looking at Lewis Cook. I love Lewis Cook at Leeds, but I don't think he's the signing to bring in right now. So for me, it just lands at David Brookes. It really does. Obviously, I know apparently Bielsa really does like Harry Wilson, but he's not played enough football this year to just fit back into that 11. And when Brookes is fit, he fits straight back into that. So for me, get that signed and sealed and done. Hopefully we have. The new kit's been apparently seen on social media. I quite like it, but maybe that's because I've got awful taste. My favourite kit is the 94 kit, the Yeboah, the Brian Deane kit. So you've seen me in it on a lot of videos before, so that's probably why I like it. But yeah, apparently that is being released very soon. Bielsa, obviously we've touched on his contract, and Alfie McCalmont, apparently a contract is getting finalised this week, which is crazy news. Obviously McCalmont's sort of been left out the squad. You thought with Phillips being injured, maybe McCalmont was going to come in. He's not really made any substitute appearances either, and he's sort of been left out. And I thought, maybe with Corberan going to Huddersfield, he was going to maybe ask Bielsa for a favour. Can I take McCalmont? Can I take maybe a Robbie Gotts and do as a favour sort of thing? Leeds can be that Huddersfield Town feeder club. But yeah, it's unbelievable, and I didn't expect the contract to be offered to McCalmont, but well done, sir. And obviously, my final message is don't panic, guys. The transfer window has only started today. Leagues in La Liga and Serie A, maybe where Leeds are looking for players and looking for talent, obviously, not just in the domestic competition, but abroad on the continent. It's only finished today. So keep your feet on the ground. I think there will be movements. It could be as quickly as today. So stay tuned, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. The room a little bit longer today, a little bit more news, not just on Jonathan David. Obviously, that was specifically yesterday. I hope you've enjoyed it once again. Make sure you slap a like on the video. Share it to your friends as well if they've not seen my face before, not seen my content. But yeah, please slap a subscribe on. You've been absolutely magical, and there'll be more Rumour Mill coming out pretty much every single day. So if you're enjoying it, please subscribe. Turn the notification bell on as well so you know exactly when In Full Swing uploads. We're uploading the Niall Farrell, Great British Boxer podcast tomorrow as well. I think a lot of you will enjoy that. If you like your boxing as well. I'm a big fan of fighting and stuff. We've also got Talk Norwich City producer, editor, presenter Chris Reeve on the podcast. We're going to do a live stream on Wednesday night just to talk through everything. How can Leeds not do a Norwich? And then we've got another really exciting guest on at the end of the week. So stay locked in at the In Full Swing podcast, the In Full Swing channel, and I'll see you in a bit.